Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. Let me go and set up this room real quick and then we'll get started. So today is Monday, April 4th. It is 6:21 right now. Market's going to open in about 9 minutes. So let me just get everything all set up and we'll get started for our session today. All right, looks good. Got a few things right here. All right, so let me get this link sent out to the premium group right now. We'll get started with our session for today. All right, cool. Hey guys, morning everybody. Happy Monday. Today is Monday, April 4th. It is 6:23 right now. Market's going to open in about 3 minutes. So let me start off by marking up the liquidity over here, and then we will get started with our session this morning to kick off the trading week. So we got some liquidity right here on the bottom, liquidity on the top as well. There you go. All right. I think we got one more right over here. I should think that's it. All right, cool. So who's in the room right now? All right, so morning, David, morning, Solo, morning, Rashida, morning, Marlon, morning, John, morning, Lisa. Nice, Lisa back in Bali. Morning, John, morning, Jez, morning, Baded, morning, Lisa, morning, Nick, morning, iPhone, morning, Jonathan, morning, Maria, morning, everybody. So hopefully you guys had a great weekend. You guys got a lot of rest, but I'm ready to get back into this trading week. So looking at the market right now, there's a lot of liquidity on both sides. The price can pretty much go either direction. We'll take a look at the bias shortly. We'll get a few more minutes for people to make their way in. But let me go ahead and mark up the clean chart as well. So I'm going to back out of here real quick. I'm going to see if there's any news as well for us to be aware of this morning. There. All right, so we got this all marked up. Looks like we're good to go. Looking over here at the news this morning, so I want to make sure there's anything that happened. So no US news this morning aside from 7 o'clock. So we just got news at 7. That's pretty much it. Let me go over to the clean chart. I'm going to mark up a few lines here. So we got market open right here at 6:30. We got some news at 7. It's light impact. And then end of session right here at 8. So it looks like pretty much just a normal Monday, nothing too crazy to kick off the trading week, of course. 6:26 right now. Market's going to open in about 4 minutes. So let's see what we got over here. Morning, David. Morning, Steven. Morning, Professor. Morning, David. Morning, Andreas. Morning, Kenny. Morning, Sam. Morning, Matt. Morning, Maria. Morning, Jonathan. Morning, everybody. All right, guys. So let's see what's going on over here. Morning, JJ. All right, so looking over at the bias, so we do have one news event this morning. It's at 7 o'clock. It's factory orders, light impact, nothing too crazy. Let me check FX factory to make sure there's nothing over here as well. Or my FX book. So looking at my FX book, there's not really much going on today. There is just the same thing happening at 7 o'clock. But let's take a look at the bias for this morning. So looking over here at retail sentiment is currently 52% short. So it's not going to be very biased one way or the other. We can basically trade in both directions if we're looking with, the bias of retail sentiment. We're not going to do that, of course, but this just indicates that there's no clear bias in the market. It's Monday, so it might take a while for the bias to be set, but overall, this will start to move as the week progresses. So right now, retail sentiment is not going to be too useful. It's only 52% short. So this means this can easily go from like short to long within a few percentage points. Going over to the fundamentals are currently 19 points in the red. So it's not a very strong bias here as well. This is kind of difficult to determine what bias you want to trade in because there's no bias in either direction. We'll see what happens when the market actually opens, because the market can easily push as soon as the market does reopen for the week, because the market has been closed for about 2-3 days. Other than that, see if there's any updates here with regard to the war in Ukraine and Russia. So let me see if there's any updates here. Open this real quick. It says killings in Bucha, Ukraine sparks calls for tougher sanctions. Russia accused of civilian massacre. Follow a live update. So it says JP Morgan CEO Dimon says Ukraine war, inflation, COVID may dramatically increase risks ahead. Yeah, which no surprise there. Russia's economy is beginning to crack. Putin imposes new visa restrictions. Yeah, so it looks like the war is not getting any better. Every week they keep discussing that, peaceful talks are coming along, but it doesn't really seem like it. Things are just getting worse. So we'll keep following this and we'll see how this affects the market. However, the market in general doesn't really have a strong bias with regard to retail sentiment here. Retail sentiment is 52% short, meaning that 52% of retail traders are on the short side. However, this can easily shift to the long side. Fundamentals are currently not strong either. So we have to wait until the market actually opens to confirm, what the fundamentals are looking like. Also looking over here at the technicals. The technicals aren't very strong either. You can see that they were bullish, half of the London session, then now it's starting to drop right below. So we'll see what happens when the market opens in about 30 seconds, and then we'll confirm, whether we want to be looking for buys or whether we want to be looking for sells. However, there's no bias for retail sentiment. There's no bias for fundamentals. We just have to focus on technicals today. Hopefully we can get a bullish or bearish bias with the fundamentals after market open. So market is opening in about 10 seconds. Morning, Jessica. We got about 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Market is now open. So let's see what's going on over here. Looking at the market, price is kind of dropping a bit. If we get a strong bearish candle here, then this would technically be the breakout. So that's something to look out for here. One thing that you guys want to be careful for is that it is Monday. So Monday and Fridays are some of the riskier days to trade in the market. 1 second, guys. Yeah, so Monday and Fridays are usually the riskier days to trade in the market because the market is fully opening from weekend. This is the first full session since the weekend close. And you're probably going to see some erratic price movements all throughout the charts today. So if this closes as a strong red candle, meaning that there's a strong red candle with a little to no wick on the bottom side, then this would be the breakout because momentum is pointing towards the bottom. However, this candle is kind of big, even if it does close, it's probably going to retrace back a little bit. So as you can see right here, there's a huge wick on the bottom. So this would not be considered the breakout. This needs to be a strong red candle before we can consider this an entry for the breakout. So basically you want to confirm the direction of bias. Retail sentiment does not confirm any bias. Fundamentals do not confirm any bias. The technicals here are indicating a sell, but we're not sure if it's a very strong one or not. Other than that, the third requirement is just to confirm a strong, red candle in that direction. One thing that you want to be careful for right here as well is that price is right at the sessions. So you can see where price rejected from earlier off this previous candle was off the sessions. And if you guys remember, we generally don't like to trade around the sessions, around opening price or news price, because that's where a lot of manipulation happens. So if this closes right here as a strong red candle, this will technically be the breakout, but it's not one that I'm looking to take because it is right at the sessions right here. You can see price rejected directly off it. Again, there's a weak red candle right here, so no entry off this for the breakout. It's just bouncing right off these sessions over here. Let me mark up opening price over here. All right. There we go. So this blue line right here is going to be opening price. This purple line right here is going to be the Asia low, which is the sessions. We're still looking to see if we have a strong red candle. However, this candle is still at the session. So even if we do get an entry here, guys, I'm not going to take it. I'll wait for the next, entry to come up because it's still breaking through the sessions right here. It's still not a good entry for us to be taking because these are risky areas to be trading at, where you tend to get a lot of fake outs, reversals, and huge rejections. So this candle here is about to close. Another big wick here on the bottom, looks like. So again here, no entry for the breakout. These are all weak red candles. See, it's 6:33 right now. So we will see what it's looking like. See, Maddie said, yeah, no, I see that too, Maddie. I do think it's going to bounce right back up. So I'd be careful with taking any trades right now, guys. Just be patient. It is Monday. You have a whole week ahead of you guys. So you don't need to force anything today. If you don't see anything good, then just wait for something better. The fundamentals are down 115 points. If this stays below this point, then our bias is going to be for a sell today. Well, for now, at least. We'll see how this closes. So I wouldn't chase this drop here, guys. I know a lot of you guys are probably tempted to chase this drop. I wouldn't, because I think this is going to swing right back up. So this right here would technically be the breakout, but it's not one that I'd recommend you guys taking, right? Because this is a big, the price is way overextended right here. So this would technically be the breakout, but you guys can see right here that price is way overextended. So it's probably going to swing back up at some point. It's just too risky to take, but this is technically the breakout if you guys wanted to take it. All the requirements here are met, but due to the fact that it's way too overextended, I do think it's going to swing back up. So I would probably just hold off. If you guys want to take it, feel free, but understand the risk that you guys are taking with taking a trade that's so overextended down here, because whenever it drops like this, it's going to have it's going to have a hard swing back to the upside. So if you are in this position, guys, I do recommend move your stop loss in profit, because this can easily just swing all the way back up. Nice. Hamidi said, I took that at 0.54 times, closed out each profit for 175. Last one was over 400. Nice, Hamidi. So you probably locked in close to 1,000, taking, the drop right here. So great work right there, Hamidi, with identifying that. But you can see right here, price is starting to swing back up. This is why I'd be very careful with taking any trades at this point. Whenever price is super extended like this, you want to be careful for the rejection and swing back up. Also, Maddie confirmed that there's a demand down there. Well, it's been bouncing off demand. So, I'd probably be really careful about taking anything really. I mean, because I know some of you guys are going to try to take some reversals right here. I wouldn't take that at all, but I also wouldn't take any sells, because you really don't know where price can be going from this point. Yeah, Anton said he sees an order block at 34,617, which is it's a little farther down. So there's still some space. Nice work, Steven. Steven said goal reach. So if you guys remember, Steven only takes the breakout. He tends to take it around. He'll exit or move his stop loss in profit once he gets to halfway in profit. And that's what he did. So Steven pretty much took the trade, hit his TP, and then he's done for the day. So nice work, Steven. Steven said, goal reach, I'll be back tomorrow. So yeah, definitely, Steven, we'll see you tomorrow. And great work there. So there you go with the breakout. Full TP off this. However, as I mentioned, it was a very risky entry because it's overextended and the biases just weren't confirmed all around. So if you guys caught it, great work. I didn't catch it, so it's not going to count as an official trade. I just wanted to show you guys that this was a breakout and this is what we were looking for. So I try to risk the pros and cons with you guys. You know, if I'm not 100% about a position, I'm not going to take it. But it seems like a lot of you guys here did take your, you guys did take the trade, even though I did mention it was a bit risky. Nice. 13 said, almost hit my stop loss. I'm up 4K. I'm going to yoga class, GCL tomorrow. All right, 13, we'll see you tomorrow. So guys, good work. A lot of you guys here did make a lot of profit off of 13, made about 4K. Steven, he made about 1K, it looks like. Rick said he made $1,000, 2 lots. And Hamidi made about 1,000 off this too. So great work, guys. I mean, if you guys locked in some profit off this, great. If you guys haven't, don't FOMO into it. Just wait for the next entry. So amazing work to kick off the week, guys. I would have hopped in with you guys, but I just, you know, obviously I don't think it was a very safe trade to take, but I'm glad to see a lot of you guys here lock in profits. Looking over here at the chat, so let's see, a lot of you guys here showed some profits this morning. Lisa locked in a total of 1,078. So nice work off that account right there, Lisa. Her other trades right here, she locked in a couple more, locked in a total of 1,371 in profit. So nice work right there, Lisa. Looking over here at Emil locked in, Emilzon locked in a total of 937. So he said, happy Monday, he's done for the day. So great work, Emilzon. Scotty over here as well, locked in a total of 522. Took a couple of sells there off the breakout. Nice work, Scotty. Got Jason over here, locked in a total of 811. Great work right there, Jason. Valentine over here locked in a total of 1,224 trading DAX this morning. So nice work, Valentine. If you guys have any profits, you know, feel free to send them in. Otherwise, we'll keep looking for more trades as we continue on with the session. Take this off right here. Take this off as well. We got our low right over here. Our bias is for a sell right now, so we'll see what happens. As we continue along with this session this morning. So, all right, price is starting to consolidate sideways, as you guys can see right here. This range is kind of what you want to look out for. When price starts to range like this, you definitely don't want to enter any trades. You want to wait for price to get it confirmed. So to confirm the bearish bias, you want price to break and close below this low right here, right? We do have a bearish bias, but in order to confirm that it's going to continue pushing, you want it to break and close below this low right here. If it doesn't, then price is probably just going to go sideways. Right, so you just want to confirm price is actually dropping below. But also one thing that you want to confirm is a retracement. You want price to retrace up and then continue dropping below. This is kind of what you're looking for right here. Once you get that, then you can confirm that, you know, price is probably going to continue pushing, or it's either going to just range for a bit. So we'll see what's going on here. There you go, with price breaking and closing below it. It needs to actually close below it though. So keep in mind, it needs to close below. Also, one thing that you guys want to be careful for is the sessions right here. So as you can see, price is getting close to the London low right here. Even though price is below this point, this is one thing that you guys want to be careful for. If price does get down to this point right here, one of two things will happen, right? When price gets near the sessions, I don't enter any trades around the sessions. Price will either bounce off it or it'll break below and continue dropping, right? So it's just a messy setup right now for the day so far, because you get a lot of sessions down here. Even if price breaks below this point, it's going to bounce off here as well, or it could possibly bounce off here as well, which is the New York low. So as you can see, the same pattern over here as well. When it bounced off the purple line, which was the Asia low, came down, bounced up, came down, bounced up, and it finally broke below. So whenever price gets near these areas, one of two things will happen. Price will either bounce off or it'll break below and continue dropping further. And you can see right here, a huge retracement candle. So this is why I was telling you guys not to chase the sells here, because if you chase the sells, you might get caught in this nasty retracement right here. So what I can see happening at this point is price will either push back up to opening price, or what might happen is price will get to this purple line here, which is the sessions, and then you'll run into the same scenario. If and when price reaches that point, price will either bounce back down, continue dropping, or it'll break above and push up to opening price right here. So it's just the same pattern that just keeps repeating itself. This is why you want to trade outside of the sessions and avoid it whenever price gets near it, because that's where you get caught in a lot of price manipulation. All right, well, this is fine. If price continues to range around this area, this is fine. But just one thing you want to look out for is going to be the sessions above there. All right. Henry's asking if there was a 3-minute V. I mean, there's a pending V3 right here, Henry, but there's no entry that came up yet. If this closes here, then yeah, this would technically be a V3 buy. However, I would find it to be a bit risky because the fundamentals are still red. So you're trading against the bias right here. The bias is still a sell bias. So there's a V3 that's pending right now. If this closes, because the low here is with a red candle. However, it hasn't closed yet. It looks like it may close, but even if you were to get it, you're trading against the bias. A bias, the bias is still one of the confirmations here, number 5. So yeah, and then you have another one here off the 5 as well. So you have basically like the 2 different V3s that are possibly running at this point, or that can possibly be running when this candle does close, because it looks like the 5-minute and the 5-minute and the 3-minute are both going to close at the same time. So you got the 5-minute right there. And then you also have the 3-minute right here running. Maybe I'll take this for a small speculative move, like not the full push, but I'd be careful because you're still trading against the bias here. But I do think price needs to push up. So it might push up and hit the the sessions over here, because it's going to have to retrace at some point, which is probably what's going to happen right now. So we'll see. We'll see what happens when this closes here. So let's see if the 3-minute closed yet. It hasn't closed yet. It still has a minute to go. See if it ends up going up or not. Let's see. Charles said a V1 sell that hit full TP. I didn't see that. Yeah, so it was actually a V1 sell right there. That could have been taken for, about 100 pips. Totally missed that. I was looking for, it's all good, guys. Because I was looking at the 3-minute and the 5-minute, like you guys are mentioning, but we totally missed the V1 right here that just closed. It was a quick move though. Like you literally had to be like right on it, right over here. Looks like Charles caught it. So nice work, Charles, on catching that V1 right there. Yeah, it was a super quick drop. Like you had to be watching it to catch that V1. Looking over here, so let's see, the V3 did close. Looks like the V3 on the 3-minute close right there. And same with the 5-minute. So maybe it'll be swinging back up right now. So here's the 5-minute right here and the 3-minute. I'm thinking about taking this maybe for a speculative push. So maybe I'll put a buy stop at entry point, just catch it as it pushes up a little bit. But I'm not really looking to take the full move because it's going against the bias. I don't go against any of my requirements here. Fifth requirement is confirm you're trading the direction of bias. Right here, this is kind of a speculative push in the opposite direction because we do expect it to push back up with the retracement. However, it doesn't fit the requirements here because the fundamentals are still down 155 points. So you don't really want to be trading in that direction long term. Maybe short term, you want to catch a small move there, but not necessarily long term, right? Because you're doing the opposite of what the requirements tell you to do. So looking over here at retail sentiment, this hasn't changed at all. Let's see. Yeah, it hasn't really changed at all. It's kind of shifting a little bit, but overall, it hasn't really changed. The main thing we can look for here is going to be fundamentals, which are still bearish, but you can see that price is, attempting to trace a little bit. All right, so we'll see where it goes from here. I kind of do expect it to push up a bit, maybe retest these sessions up here. But we'll have to see where it goes from there. See if we can catch this. Swings up higher. So as you can see right here, this is why I wouldn't want to take a buy, right? Because you can see price is still dropping. The bias is still a sell. So this is why you guys want to be careful with these entries that you guys are trying to look for in the opposite direction. Because I'm still looking for sells at this moment. If you guys want to look for that buy, feel free. But I'm still looking for sells at this moment. Price is currently ranging right now, but we still have a bearish bias. Here, let's see. Professor said 10-minute V3 pending buy. Opposite fundamentals may go back to opening price. Yeah, no, I think price is eventually going to go back to opening price at some extent. But, for the most part, I do think that price is still, it still has a bearish bias. So price might come back to opening price, might happen now, might happen later, who knows? But overall, we're still waiting for some sort of confirmation here. So price is now ranging. As you guys can see, price is just going sideways at this moment within this area. I wouldn't really be looking for any buys until I have a confirmation that price is actually going to keep going up. It's just going to be a matter of patience, waiting for some sort of direction to be confirmed. Because what could happen here is price can confirm for a bullish confirmation, but it just hasn't happened yet. Price is literally in a range at the moment. Maddie's asking about, I didn't even put my buy stop. I should have put it there. I don't have the buy stop yet, Maddie. I wasn't following it. How much did it push up from that point? Damn, I would have hit my TP too. Yeah, no, I didn't put the buy stop. I was going to, but I kept going back between the 1 minute, 3 minute, 5 minute. But you can see price is kind of still just ranging within that area. Probably gonna wait for a better entry though. I'm not gonna rush anything today. Yeah, Maddie said I don't like buys right now. Same here. Let's see. And there it goes. Price pushes up. It's probably going to go up and test the sessions right there. Yeah, Maddie said I'm not going to chase. Yeah, no, same here, Maddie. I'm going to wait because it's bouncing off the pivots. 19 said I hate when I'm skeptical. I don't enter. It just hits TP. Yeah, no, same here. 19. Same with me because I mentioned I was going to put a buy stop right here to catch it as it swings up. But I'm just skeptical because it is Monday. And the thing is, I don't like going against the bias. If the bias is bearish, I'm going to wait for some sort of confirmation of the bullish bias before I enter anything. But we did expect price to push up and test the sessions right here or the opening price. Because that's typically what happens, right? You guys have seen that before. Happens all the time. Where price will, it'll go and test some of these structures that we've marked up previously. So we'll see if it continues pushing up. It might push up and test the sessions, but I mean, who knows? Yeah, let's see. Ruin said, I just got a little trace off your analysis. Thanks, Sean. Nice work, Ruin. Let's see. Dijon said, I think I might just wait till tomorrow. I kind of hate Mondays. Yeah, no, same here. It's Mondays are usually either really good or they're really bad. You know, it's never like really down the middle, or you probably maybe catch like one trade. In some instances, but yeah, today is kind of risky because I think the main thing that's really the issue here is that there's no retail sentiment. This is always going to be like our deciding factor for long-term pushes, right? So like, for example, if it was like 60% short, then yeah, I'd be taking some buys because overall I'd be looking for some buys, and then vice versa. If it was like 60% long, then I'd be looking for sells overall. But right now the retail sentiment is just right down the middle, and it usually doesn't stick this way for very long, right? It usually, it'll usually push like one way or the other as the week progresses. But yeah, it's kind of early to really determine how it's going to be pushing this week, especially with like the war going on. Like whenever there's updates with the war, like one little thing can come and change everything, right? If there's more sanctions or something crazy happens, like you can easily push price one way or the other. So that's why I kind of like entering trades when I'm not like very positive, because it can easily just come back and just bite. It can just burn me super easily. So yeah, I'm just being patient with these moves here. And there we go. As price reaches these sessions right here. As price does reach the sessions, you know, one of two things will happen. Price will either bounce off it or it'll continue pushing up and then possibly test the opening price right here. Let me see. Rick's asking what day is not risky. Probably the days that you aren't trading. Risky, Rick. Because it's basically any other day aside from Monday, Friday. Tuesdays are fine. I know people call it Trap Tuesday, but it's only not risky when you actually have, you know, a game plan. If you're not just gambling that price is going to go one way or the other. It's usually like Rick said, made a grand down and a grand up just now. Nice, Rick. Yeah, Solange said Wednesday's not risky, it's wacky. Let's see what else I'm missing here. See, Anton said if we bounce off 34,769, which is like right here, he was going to short, which we did bounce off right here. But I think price will push up further and probably test the opening price right here. I think that's probably one thing that we can probably see happening, because it's already broken and closed past the sessions. But when price does reach this point, it's the same scenario, right? Price will either bounce off it or it'll keep pushing up higher. So we'll see what happens here. We got news coming up also at 7. So in about 5 minutes, we do have news coming up. Here we go. Price reaching opening price right here. Let's see where price ends up going. Rick said at my age, getting out of bed is risky, right? Let's see, Maddie said 34,803 price might go from 5-minute supply at that price. And there he goes, price rejects off opening right here. Melanie's asking, for some reason, I'm only getting 2 pivot lines. Sorry, still new here. Does anyone know which indicator is the correct one? There's only one indicator for K2 pivots, Melanie. It's called K2 pivots. So if you have K2 pivots on, you would turn on your settings right here, go to style. You probably have only 2 checked off right here. So when you go to the pivots, just go to the settings, go to style, and then you can click. I have all mine clicked on, so that's why I have 4, but you probably only have 2. So yours probably looks like this. So if you want to fix it, just go to style Go to level 1, level 2, turn on, and then it should show on right there, like that. Other than that, yeah, the Rick strategy actually worked. I mean, it always works, right? We always expect it to come back to opening. There's like, it's usually a 50% chance. Like when price dumps like this, price will either come back to opening or it'll just keep dropping further. So that's like one thing to look out for as well. That's why I always draw up the opening price right here. So market open here at 630. Whenever price comes down, it can just keep dipping or it'll come right back up to opening price. Yeah, Rick said it didn't last week for sure, though. For sure once though. Yeah, no, I remember last week. There was like one day, I think Wednesday, where price literally just kept dipping. It went below opening and it just never came back. But it does happen pretty often. That's why I draw the line there. There's a reason why I draw these lines on the chart, because they're very distinct structure, like opening price, news price, these sessions over here. All these lines here on the chart, they have some sort of importance. So here at this point now, this is what we're looking for. So here's where the bias can shift from bullish to bearish, right? We have price breaking close above it. We're looking for the break and retest right here. So here's a retest of the structure. Step one was a break and close past structure. The second step was retest of the structure. The third confirmation is going to be a break and close past this line here. Price ends up breaking and closing past this line. Then we'll have a shift in bias. Our bias is now going to shift to a buy because we currently had a sell way down here. Now we have it shifting to a buy if it ends up closing above this point. So one thing that you guys want to look out for is make sure that price is not breaking close below this line. Make sure it breaks and closes above this line. If it fails to do that, then it's not going to confirm the bullish bias, right? So there's just two things that you're looking for here. You're looking for this green candle right here, or whatever candle ends up closing right here, to close above this line here. If it closes above it, then we have a switch in bias. Bias is not going to be bullish. If you look over here to the fundamentals should have decreased a lot. So you can see right here, it's not 155 points anymore, right? It's now only 33 points. So the bias is drastically shifting at this moment. And this is why I wasn't really chasing any sells or chasing any buys there, because it's just a risky time to be entering some trades at that point. So this is what you want to look for here. Price is now ranging between opening price and this high. What you want to look for is whether price closes above, then we'll look for some buys. Vice versa, if price closes below, then price might just swing right back down. We also have news coming up in 2 minutes. Thanks, Maddie, for confirming, or 1 minute actually. So you want to confirm that you're not taking any trades within this point. Price might spike up, price might spike down. That doesn't really matter. What you want to confirm is where it actually closes, because you'll see spikes, like for example, right here, price spiked down, huge wick, and then it came right back up. So the thing that you're looking for is going to be the actual candle close. It doesn't matter if price swings below and then comes back up, or swings up and comes back down. You want to make sure that it actually closes above here or closes below down here. So let's keep an eye out for it. News is happening in about less than a minute. And you're going to see price probably have difficulty breaking and closing above, either direction. So let's see what happens here if this candle ends up closing below, and it did. All right, so price closed below opening price. You can see at this point, this switch in bias has been invalidated. So it's no longer valid anymore, because price did not break and close past here, and then now it's back below opening price. So let's see what happens. This is news right here though. So this red line, this is news price. Let's check the calendar real quick. The news for right now at 7 o'clock was neutral. So not really any much impact on the market. They're forecasting it to be negative 0.5%. It was negative 0.5%. So not really much of an effect here with regard to news price. But I will draw a news price line right there. So small, but it's right there. All right, so there is a news price right there. I'm going to make some adjustments here on the clean chart. So now that the market's been open for 30 minutes, let me just show you guys what the direction has been looking like since open. So we do have a bit of a choppy market to kick off the trading week. Obviously, you can see right here. Let me just turn this off real quick. Back up. So you can see that market opened right here at 6:30. Price dropped a little bit, and then it swung right back up, right? So there's no direction. You can see price literally just came back to opening price right here. This is where market opened from 6:30. Price just dumped a little bit, and then it came all the way back up, and it's back to where it was on open. So there's no direction here. There's no direction for a bullish bias or direction for a bearish bias. Price pretty much just came back to zero line where market opened at. And this is something that you guys should be paying attention to, right? Because generally when the market is moving directional, you'll have price drop below like this. It may retrace and then it continues dropping, right? This is like normal movement. However, you guys have seen like for the past couple of weeks now, we've been getting a lot of this where price will drop, it'll come back, and then it just ranges for a while where it eventually does choose its direction, right? Where it ends up continuing up or where it ends up continuing pushing down. So this is where patience comes into play, guys, because the thing is, you see a lot of people who will chase these sells here. Like people will think that this pattern will happen, right? Market will close and they see the retracement and people take sells because they think price is going to keep dropping. However, it does the opposite and then they get stopped out. And this is why I'm like super patient about the trades that I decided to take, because I don't want to get caught in that right there. You know, this will just screw up your entire week. If you end up losing so much on your first day of the week, it's going to mess with your mindset. Your trade psychology is just going to be super scared to take any other trades. So I prefer to just wait for some sort of direction to be set here before actually taking trades, because you can see right here clearly that price isn't really doing much. It's now just ranging right here. So you got to be very selective about what trades you decide to take, you know, what direction you decide to trade in, because the last thing you want to do is get caught in a range like this, and then you just end up losing both ways. So let's see what's going on over here. Yeah, Maddie said news price and open price damn near the same spot. Yeah, exactly. Rick said it's done this for the past 2 weeks, keeps fucking around with the open. Yeah, it does. That's usually what happens. And what's been going on. That's why I've just been like super patient, because the thing is I haven't had losses, but I haven't had, well, I've had some wins, but I haven't had losses because I haven't been taking, you know, these risky trades here. I'd rather have a couple wins and no losses rather than having some wins and a lot of losses, because then that's just going to cut into, you know, your net profit for the week or for the month in general. Rick said, I'm up 2,300. Just want to stay positive by 2 p.m. today. Yeah, you just gotta be a bit, I think you just gotta be a little more selective, Rick, with the trades. But I mean, you're fine, Rick. You know what you're doing. It's the same thing that happens every week. It's like you see the same patterns because you've been on this live session for like, you know, a couple months now, maybe a year. You know, the analysis usually plays out. So as long as you're following the analysis correctly, not just taking random trades, I think you should be good. Because the thing is, the analysis does play out. It's just following, you know, protocol. So as you can see right here, price is now breaking this high. It's attempting to break and close past this high right here, but there's no confirmation yet. So as you can see right here at this point, let me just show you guys. So you can see price closed below the opening price right here, right? It broke above here again. So we have another attempt of switch in bias. So right here, price broke and closed above it. I'm just waiting for it to come back down for the retest. So the same thing that we were looking for earlier over here, we're looking for it again right here. So I wouldn't take any buys just yet. I'd wait for it to come back down, retest it. And then once it retests, I'll be looking for the possible confirmation of the bullish bias above it right here. If we get that, then yeah, the bias has shifted and we'll start looking for some buys. But currently right now, we don't have that confirmation yet. So if you guys still have confusion about this bias, we'll probably go over it today during the mentoring session. So just a reminder, we're having our group mentoring session today at 2 p.m. Pacific. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to save your questions for later and we'll answer them there. And this is like one of the common questions that we get from a lot of people is just confirming bias, right? So I'll go over this again at the beginning of the session so that if you guys do have trouble with it, you guys can go back to that mentoring session and watch me explain it more in detail. So here, let's see. Henry's asking, if you're trying to pass a challenge on 100K count trading 3 to 4 lots on FTMO, you have to trade more than 2 or 3 times a week. So how can you pass challenge if you trade only 2 or 3 times a week? It's simple, Henry. You increase your lot size. Because if you're using 3 to 4 lots, I mean, that's pretty small of a lot size. If you're taking it's just like basic math, Henry. I feel like we have this conversation a lot, like very often with you. It's just, you do basic math. It's like, if you're doing a 500 pip stop loss or a TP, if you're doing like a V3 or a breakout, we did talk about this last time where I told you were using small, like you asked the same exact question on Friday. I was telling you that you're using too small of a lot size, right? So if you're using a 3 lot or a 4 lot, whatever, if you're doing a 500 pip stop loss, then, this is a profit potential for those trades. If you're using like the breakout you have to be more specific, Henry. I feel like you're being very general about your question. Like you ask this question very often, but you're never specific about what your TP is, what your target is. You're supposed to be based off percentage, Henry. So I think you keep trying to go off profit, but realistically, you have to go off percentages, right? Because you're going for a 10% percentage gain to pass your FTMO. And if you don't get it, I mean, this is something that's common that a lot of people get confused with. But you're really going over, percentage points. So if you're doing 500 pips, like your TP, if you're going for the breakout, like what Steven's doing, with Steven going for the breakout every day, and he's going for the full 500 pips, or even half of that, he's making about 2,000 a day, right? If he's hitting them almost every time, you're going for a 10,000 profit goal, right? So 10,000 divided by 2,000 per trade, you only need 5 wins. So do you see the logic there, Henry? I think you're kind of confused about like the whole logic of like how to add these things up, because if you're going for even if you're doing a 4 lot and you're making 2,000 profit per trade, and then you said if you only trade 2 or 3 times a week, okay, so basic math right here, right, Henry? You just said 2 or 3 times a week, so 3 times a week times 2,000 times 4 weeks, right? You're at 24,000. Your goal is 10,000. So how is it not possible to not pass, right? So I'm just trying to like stir up the logic so that you can kind of understand, because you kind of just, like your whole question there kind of just, I just proved you wrong with the basic math there. Even if you were to take smaller trades, like if you were to take half of that, like if you were to make 1,000, like say you were doing a half lot size, you're going only for half TP, right? Times, you said 3 trades a week, 3,000 times 4 weeks in a month, you still would have passed your FTMO. So I'm trying to hopefully you understand this, because I'm literally just breaking down basic math to see that you can understand how it would apply. So yeah, I mean, if you want to go back over this later, we can go over this more in detail, Henry, like during the mentoring session. But right now, I'm going to go back to the trades. So hopefully that helps with like some of your confusion there. But you have to base it off percentage, not off your profits. Because the thing is, you're going for a 10% goal. You only need a few trades to reach that if you're using proper risk. Okay, so other than that, this is the same markup that I drew earlier, right? So we had price breaking close above. I said not to chase the buys yet, and this is exactly why. So price came down. Here's the second step. Price came and retested the opening price just like what we're looking for. The next step is for price to break and close above this high right here. So we need it to break and close above this high. Once it breaks and closes above this high, then we can start looking for some bias. But currently right now, there's no bias. Price is basically just ranging right now. So earlier you guys saw that there was a range between this area right here, right? It's the same range, it's just a bigger range at this point now. So price kind of came up and then it came back down, and then now it's just going sideways at this moment. But what we're looking for at this point is we're looking for this pattern to complete. Once it completes, we can have that bullish bias, but we just don't have it right now. Here, let's see. Anton said, I think we see more choppiness, market kind of looking like ass. Yeah, no, I agree. Maddie said, patience is key right now. Yeah, no, 100%. So I haven't taken any trades. I'm just waiting for some sort of confirmation here. Let's see. Lisa said V1 on the 1 minute though, or V3 she meant. Yeah, technically a V3 right here, but I wouldn't take it yet because we don't have bias yet for the bullish confirmation, Lisa. Also, I think the stop loss is too close. So yeah, it's a little too close. We want it to be at least 300 pips. I mean, if you wanted to do something like this, you could, but I wouldn't take it because it's just too close. You want it to be at least 300 pips. If you have it at like 220, it's just too tight because you have to cover the spread. The spread's 110 right now, I believe. Let me check. Yeah, spread for FTMO is 110. So you'd have to cover the spread, plus you have to make your win or profit. So I wouldn't take the trade here. It's too close. There's a couple of red flags. So one red flag is that stop loss is too close. Second red flag is that it's right at sessions and news price, or not sessions, opening price and news price. And the third red flag is that we don't have a confirmation of a bullish bias yet. I'm technically still looking for sells at this moment, but we just don't have a confirmation of a bullish bias. And as you can see right here, price is again closing below. So if it closes below, it's going to invalidate this whole bullish bias confirmation right here, and it's just going to have to start over again. So here's the 3 minute from earlier, 3 minute V3. It did hit full TP. So if you guys did take that, congrats to you guys. I didn't catch it myself, but you know, glad you guys did. If you guys did, the 5 minute and 3 minute both hit full TP right here for the V3, as price did push up to, you know, opening price. Again, right here. So back to what we were just discussing, price did not close above here. So there's no bullish bias. Price might just be swinging all the way back down. Nice. Yeah. Talanji said 3 minute V3 sell TP2. Yeah, no, definitely. There was another V3 right here. So let me go back over here and delete this. This already hit full TP. There was another V3 that happened right there. We have the high with the green candle followed by a green candle. Yeah, opposite red candle right there. However, it's just too tight of a TP stop loss. So as I mentioned before, guys, I'm going to add that to the requirements later or at some point. You know, we're usually looking for a minimal of 300 pips. The main reason for that is because the spread's about 110 pips. So if you were to take this trade here, your spread's going to be at 110 pips, like right there. So if you were to enter a trade at this point, you would already be negative. Like this is where your entry point would actually happen. Even though you would have wanted to enter at this point, your entry would actually be, oh, sorry, not right there. It's supposed to be negative because you're looking for a buy. Your entry point would actually be lower. So even though you're trying to enter at this point, your entry would actually be right here. So you'd be like farther in the negative before getting to that point. Other than that, back to the 1 minute. You can see price right here bouncing off the sessions. It's the same pattern again. One of two things will happen. Price would bounce off the sessions or break below and continue dropping. Looking over at retail sentiment. This thing shifted pretty heavy. So this went from 52% short to now 58% long. So this is going to fall in line with our bearish bias. So we have a bearish bias here with regard to retail sentiment, because if 58% of retail traders are buying, we want to do the opposite. We want to sell. Also looking over here at the fundamentals are now back down. They're back down to 73 points in the red. We want it to be below 100 points consistently for us to have that confirmation of a strong fundamental bias. But this will still line up with retail sentiment. So overall, our bias right now is looking like a sell. We haven't had that confirmation of a bullish shift in bias, but right now the retail sentiment is indicating that we should look for sells. Fundamentals are indicating that we should look for sells. And the technicals here are still indicating that we should look for sells as well. So we'll see what happens here, guys. Obviously if price ends up continuing to drop, then great. If not, then we'll just follow through. But we do have our sell bias still running right here. The same sell bias from earlier this morning. So let's see how far it continues to drop lower from here. So let's see how far it drops from this point. I'm like tempted to take like a couple of speculative sells here as price continues to drop, but I'm probably going to wait. I'm going to look for some sort of actual entry points to come off of here, because price might come back, retest the sessions and come drop lower. But we'll see what happens here as price continues to move along. Yeah, Maddie said I'm going to wait for it to come back and test the session. So I'm looking for sells here. If I get any V3s, V1s, V2s, high lows, whatever it may be, I'm definitely looking for sells at the moment. So yeah, no, smart move, Maddie. Just got to be patient and wait for it. If we get an entry at any point, then great. But we're definitely looking for sells. So because we are going to need a retracement of some sort to take any of the trades anyways, because everything's going to need like a pending signal in that direction. But yeah, our bias here is for a sell. Obviously, it's been a sell here for the technicals pretty much all morning. Now the fundamentals are starting to follow along. See, at this point, they're down almost 100 points. Looking at retail sentiment. Oh, this is crazy. The sentiment is changing so fast. Sentiment is back to 52%. So, yeah, I don't know what's going on. The market's kind of crazy today, guys. You guys definitely want to be a bit careful if you guys are entering and playing around in the market today, because the sentiment is shifting really quickly. I've never seen it shift like that. It's crazy. It went from like 58 to like 52, back to 52. Yeah, this thing's moving pretty crazy over here. What am I looking for here? So let's go back to the charts. Yeah, man. So good thing that you guys are like waiting for it, because the same thing happened again, right? So there's no entry that came up right here, and price is now coming right back to opening price. And this is like crazier Monday than I thought. Rick said, this ain't my strategy. Oh, well, my strategy is how to blow accounts, 50 accounts a year. Yeah, the choppiness here is definitely, showing. As you can see at this point, price came up and it's now rejecting off opening price again. So let me go over here real quick and see what you guys have posted. So looking over here, Rick said might call it a day. Or let me look up a little bit. Okay, so Rick, I don't know if I looked over these profits already. So Andreas over here locked in a total of 226 for the day. Nice work, Andreas. Lisa over here locked in a total of 2,112. All wins, no losses. Nice work, Lisa. Kenny over here locked in a total of 752 for the day. All wins, no losses as well. Great work, Kenny. And then Rick over here locked in a total of 2,803. All wins, no losses. So amazing work, guys. You guys are all killing it. Scotty over here as well, locked in a total of 945. Nice work, Scotty. Other than that, let me see if there's anything else here. Maddie over here showed his profits as well. Locked in a total of 292. Nice work, Maddie. Joshua over here locked in a couple trades here. Looks like you took the breakout this morning, locked in a total of 385. Nice work, Joshua. And then his other account locked in 212. So yeah, all you guys are doing pretty solid so far. Eunice for the day locked in a total of 158. So it doesn't matter, guys, if you guys have big profits, small profits, whatever profits, you guys are still doing fine. You're doing better than like majority of people if you guys are able to profit during these crazy conditions. Based off just my analysis here, because I haven't taken any trades myself, but I'm glad to see a lot of you guys here killing it. Marlon over here as well, locked in a total of 122. Nice work, Marlon. Yes, you guys are doing pretty good overall. If there's anything else, let's see. Kenny over here locked in 752. Nice work, Kenny. Rashida over here as well. Rashida locked in a total of 1,846 off that breakout earlier this morning. So nice work, Rashida. And then her other account right here locked in all wins, no losses, 417 in profit. So nice work right there, Rashida. Yeah, you guys are doing pretty good overall. Nelly over here as well, locked in a total of about 1,000 for the day. Nice work, Nelly. And guys, it's fine if you guys are doing, your trials or doing your actual accounts. It's perfectly fine. You guys are still getting ready for the actual challenge. So yeah, continue doing what you guys are doing so that when you guys do the real thing, you guys will be ready for it. Charles over here as well, locked in a total of 155 off this account. Locked in 331 off this account. And I think these are just a double post. So nice work right there, Charles. Take a look at that later as well. Other than that, I think that's it for right now. Otherwise, we're back to, the same thing we were looking at earlier. Price is pretty much just in a huge range at the moment. But you can see where price keeps going back to, right? Price just ends up going back to opening price right here. This is like center line for price. Price came back up right here, rejected off this high. We don't have a confirmation of a bullish bias yet. So as you can see, the same pattern that we were trying to confirm earlier, we're going to try to confirm it again. So we have price breaking close right here. So price broke and close above. Now we're looking for price to come back and retest this line right here. And then we're going to look for it to come back up and confirm. So, this market today is all over the place. Let me go over here to the clean chart. Let's see if we have any markups here to show you. So here's the the clean chart for today. Basically, you can see right here that there's no clear direction, but price is starting to, not really, because you can see market opened right here at 630. Price came down, came back up, consolidated, came back down for a fake out, and then swung right back up right here. It's pretty much where it was earlier. And that's like one thing that you guys always want to look at when you guys are trading, like for the day. You want to see where price has been throughout the entire session, because price hasn't been down here. Price hasn't been like way up here. So there's real no direction. This is kind of just noise. So like one thing that you guys can kind of do to identify things is like figure out where all the noise is sitting, right? There's a lot of noise right here. And there's a lot of noise like right here. This is really where price is just ranging from. You can see price is breaking above at this point, which is fine. But that noise might just be up there as well. So if you look where price is actually, where it keeps coming back to, because you can see it started right here, some noise down here, came back up, just kind of ranged around this area, bounced up slightly, came back down, bounced down, came back over here, and then now it's back around this area, right? So, this kind of gives you a better picture, because if you were just to ignore this push right here and this push over here, you can see that this is where price keeps coming right back to, until there's like some sort of confirmation of price, actually changing in bias, then you can start looking that direction. But currently right now, there's no confirmation of direction. And I wouldn't be surprised if price ends up coming back from this point and going back to opening price again down this middle. right? Because we still don't have a confirmation here. I think the craziest thing that I saw this morning was the retail sentiment. Seeing this go from 52 to 58 to now 50, it just it kind of blows my mind because it's kind of weird to see a lot of because the thing is, you know, there's so many traders in the market. In order for this number to change so quickly like that, there must be a lot of people who got stopped out or a lot of people that got kicked out of a trade. Or, you know, like what Anton was saying earlier, just a lot of contracts closing and then contracts opening because it is a new month. So just, you know, you just got to keep that in mind. And then right here, the fundamentals are just right down the middle. There's no confirmation of a bullish bias, bearish bias, you know, anything really. So, all right, from this point, I guess we're just gonna have to wait for something to really confirm the direction or confirm some sort of bias, because you can see right here, price pushed up. We can probably expect it to come down and retest the opening price. This is what we're looking for though. So we actually want this to happen. We have price right here, break and close past it. We want price to come back to retest. And then we needed to push back above to confirm the bullish bias. Until we have that, we're not really looking for buys because the bias hasn't confirmed yet. Yeah, and it's already 7:30. I didn't realize time flew by so fast. Talanji said stop loss and profit. Love this game. Yeah, no, definitely. Lisa said, see, my dodgy V3 came through with the goods. Those small lots did me good today. No, it's a smart move, Lisa. I mean, like what Lisa's been doing is trading smaller lots, but she's been killing it overall. Let's see Lily over here as well. Lily's currently up 415 for the day. Nice work, Lily. So yeah, keep it going, guys. You know, if you guys are able to profit during these like crazy market conditions, you can profit in any condition, really, as long as you guys follow the analysis. You guys, like, I know there's strategies that we follow, but when the market's moving like this, there's really no strategy for us to follow alone, right? Because there's a couple entries here that did hit, obviously, like the V5, the 5-minute V3, the 3-minute V3, but there were like a lot of entries that didn't really fit requirements because there's no direction in the market. So yeah, no, I'm glad to see a lot of you guys killing it. Let's see. Anton said, yeah, retail sentiment shows everyone getting wrecked. I know, right? Maddie said there's a V1 over here. 728. I don't see it over here. Maddie for the V. Oh, yeah, the double wick right there. Okay, I see. Yeah, did it hit TP? See. No, it didn't. It would have gotten burnt. Actually, it's still technically running, but I mean, yeah, I wouldn't have taken it at that point. Let's see. Todi said, hello, Sean. Why don't we wait? Sorry, let me reread this. Hello, Sean. Why we don't wait the price to break and retest previous high, which was broker, and we wait special the retest on opening price. Hope this makes sense. So the things with these highs here, so the reason why we don't use these high lows as the bias confirmations is the fact that they're not strong, right? Like these structures here are actually strong price points. The highs and lows get broken every time. Like you can see how this high here would have gotten broken. But either way, so if you're using this as well, Todi, I mean, if you have an example here where it actually confirmed, then we can use that as a confirmation, but I don't really see any confirmation here for a buy because you're looking for, so even if you use, technically you could use the highs or the lows if you want for the confirmation of bias change, but that's usually used if price is ranging. So like, for example, right here, I think this might be one that you're referring to. You can see that price broke and close above it right here, but it didn't come back to retest. It retested right there, but there was no confirmation of it actually closing above it, right? So even if you're using the high here, it still wouldn't have confirmed because price closed below this line. So this wouldn't have been a confirmation of the break and retest for a shift in bias, even if you use this. Again, for this one right here, you can see this line. price broke and closed above it. I guess it retested right here, but it pretty much broke it a couple times. So this wouldn't have been useful either. So, I mean, I don't know if that's making sense to you, but the main reason why we use the sessions or we use the opening price or news price is because these are actual strong prices, right? You can see right here where price ends up testing it. So you can see where price tested that line right there. And again, right here, these are strong price points, they're strong structure. The thing with these high lows is that they're not strong because there's so many of them, right? Like they can keep getting tested, they can keep getting broken. They're not really strong structure. But these sessions over here and these opening prices or news prices are actually like strong structure that you want to base your bias change off. So hopefully that makes sense. Yeah, no problem, Tony. I know like people do get impatient, and I'm sure you're getting impatient just as I am, because you want to have that shift in bias already, right? But you know, we're always looking for stuff that's quality here, not for like quick changes in bias. We're looking for actually quality changes so that we can actually have a strong direction when we take the trade. So just depending on how risky you want to be, if you want to be risky, you can use the highs or lows. But I personally would use the like actual structure, which should be opening price, or the previous session high lows versus just like these high lows that come up every couple minutes or so. Yeah, no problem, Tony. Yes, Lanji said that step 3 is the most important part. Yeah, because you want to confirm it, right? You always want to confirm it before you trade in that direction. Like for example, right here, we have the high coming up. But here's the problem, like price can easily just come right back down because it hasn't tested the opening price yet. So we'll see what happens here. Let's see, other than that, today's market sucks. I've been saying this for like the past couple of weeks now. There's usually like at least like 1 or 2 good days in the week, but yeah, lately the market's been kind of trash. Let me see if there's news this week. So let's see. Tomorrow we have news at 5:30 trade balance, which is low impact. We have the Eco Fin meeting. I don't know what that is. High impact news at 7. ISM services PMI, final services PMI at 6:45. We have Fed member Brainerd speaking at 9. I think this is Fed week, is it? Yeah, it is Fed week. So market's probably not going to have direction today, but I think tomorrow will start to pick up because every day this week we have a Fed member speaking. So we have Fed members speaking at 7 tomorrow. On Wednesday, we have FOMC meeting minutes. I don't think this is Fed week. They're just speaking every day. On Thursday, they have unemployment claims coming up pre-market. And then at market or pre-market again, we have Fed member Bullard speaking. And then on Friday, we have unemployment. We have unemployment change and unemployment rate. But this is for Canada. So actually, there's not very much news this week. It's just on Tuesday. Tuesday's high impact. And then Wednesday is the Fed meeting minutes plus crude oil inventories, which is going to be bullish. I can already see that. Yeah, not really too much going on this week. Rick said, personally, I see variations working no matter what the bias is. Yeah, I know it does. Well, before it was never a requirement, right, for the variation. But the problem is we're looking for quality trades. So, I mean, yeah, you can take every single variation if you wanted to, and they'll probably work to some extent. But, you know, I'd rather have like 5 wins and 0 losses than have like 5 wins and 5 losses and end up at break even, right? So, I mean, yeah, technically you could take like, if you want to take every single, because the thing is they do hit pretty often. Like there's no denying that. That's the reason why we started applying the strategy, because they do hit pretty often. But you know, over time we want to increase the probability of winning rather than taking like every trade. And also, if I was to take every trade, I'd be at the computer all day. which is not what I want to do. But I mean, yeah, everyone works differently. It just, it depends on which ones you guys want to apply. Rain said a V1 hit. Which time frame are you looking at, Rain? I don't see it here on the 1 minute. I think you might be looking on a different time frame. I don't see it here on the 1 minute or the 3. Maybe you're looking on a higher time frame. Uh, 1025. So let's see. Oh, this one over here. Oh yeah, the one that Maddie referred to earlier. Oh, you must have entered it late then, right? Because it got close to stop loss, right? I don't know. Or actually, no, you're right. It didn't hit stop loss. It got really close to it, but didn't hit it, and it came right back down, hit TP. So yeah, nice work, Orion. It's too risky for me. I'm not. I would have taken it if bias was for a sell. Well, I mean, bias is still for a sell right now, technically with the technicals, but I would want the fundamentals and retail sentiment to align with it. The fundamentals here are still at, it's just right down the middle. There's no confirmation of like strong fundamentals at the moment. Let's take a look at the actual index. All right, so looking at the actual index over here, it's pretty much right down the middle, right? Half are green, half are red. Yeah, exactly. It's like literally right down the middle, half red. McDonald's is down 5 points. Salesforce is down 5 points. Half red, half green at that moment. At the specific moment. Looking over here at retail sentiment, it's at 51% short. So this is useless right now. This is useless right now. All we have are our technicals, which, yeah, if you were just to follow the technicals, it would be a sell. Let's see, Rick said I'm logging out with profits. Have a good one, everyone. Definitely, Rick. We'll see you tomorrow. Other than that, let's see. John said I've been doing V3 without bias and using smaller lots to handle occasional losses. Nice work, John. Yeah, and you guys can do that too. If you guys want to do what John's doing and take more of these V3 entries, you guys can do that. You guys just need to, I would recommend just using smaller lot sizes to manage your risk, because overall it would, more than less, it would definitely hit your TP, especially if you're trading on the 5 minute or any of the higher time frames. Let's see. Sam's asking V3. Yeah, technically there'd be a V3 right here, Sam, but it's not one that I would take because we don't have a bias for a bullish confirmation yet, right? Our bias right now is still technically a sell. The bullish bias never confirmed. So right here, you can see if you're looking at the pivots or you're looking at the trend meter, it does show bullish. But the thing is, if you're looking, because the thing is, we had a bearish bias down here, like the switch and bias never changed. So you can see at this point, like price will be bearish here. It'll come up, then come back down, then come up, then come back down, right? The thing is, we still have the bearish bias here that never switched. So this right here is just temporary retracement to the upside. And that's why I wouldn't take this for a V3. Also, the stop loss is too small. So if you look at this right here, you want the stop loss to be at least 300 pips. It's a little bit shy. It's a little short of it. It's like 28 to 29 or 290 to, where is that? Yeah. You want it to be like well below 300 pips. So like, for example, if you were to do that with 300 pips, you want it to be at least like some gap in between. So yeah, the main reason why I wouldn't have taken is because our bearish bias is still running here. So that's the main key. Here's the difference though, Sam. Like for example, if this was not confirmed, like if we didn't have the bias here, but we had a bias for fundamentals, like say if this was like 200 points in the green, this was 200 points in the green and retail sentiment was like 60% short, then yeah, for sure I would take the buy there. But this isn't useful to us and this isn't useful to us right now. So the main thing that we have to follow here is going to be the technical bias. So until we have a bullish bias, I'm not looking for any buys, or until this starts to swing to the upside. Looks like Biden released something right now. Biden calls to put Putin on trial for war crimes over Russia's actions in Ukraine. All right, Biden. He's going to call for it. It's going to happen. Probably not, but yeah, maybe that'll affect the market. Maybe price will start dropping now that Biden has talked or said something at that point. All right, Lisa, we'll see you tomorrow. Charles is asking, do you manually type in stop loss and TP every time you set? Yeah, you have to, Charles, unfortunately. Unless you're entering from the DOM, it'd be automated. But if you are setting a buy stop or a sell stop, I would have to put in my TP stop loss. But it's not that difficult, right? So like, here's one thing that I'll do. Like, so entering sell stop example, right? So like, say for example, I'm trying to enter at like, let's say 36,000, or where we're at 34,000. Come back to this. Say for example, I'm trying to enter at 34,600, like at that price point, right? I'm only going to change like the last number. It's not that difficult. So like, for example, if my TP is going to be right there for a sell, oops. So like, say for example, I'm trying to enter my entry at that point. All I do is I change the last couple numbers, right? So like, for example, right here, 34,600, or it'll be 590. So you're just subtracting it by 10. And then 30, or depending on how much you're trying to go for. If you're going for like 5, you do like 55. And then here you just add something like that, right? You just change like the last number, the second to the last number. So it's not really that difficult to do it like manually. It's just like, you got to be quick, because if you're not quick enough, you're gonna miss the entry. No, I don't, Rami. So I don't take into consideration the spread because I have my stop loss and TP wide enough. So I don't do it by 10. Like for example, here, I just use that as an example, like 10. So like I would never use it at just 10 because this is not enough to cover the spread. So like usually I'm going for like maybe 3, right? 5 or 3, something like that. So instead of that, I'm doing like 34,000, or it was exactly what I did earlier. So this is like for a 500 pip TP stop loss, or like vice versa. If you're using like a 300 pip, so you just do like 3,400, 34,570, or something like that. You know, it just depends on like what type of entry you're putting, but I never go in for like 100 pips. If I'm doing a buy stop, I'll put TP like maybe at 10, and I'll put the stop loss where it's like the spread, like for example, 590. And then for here, I'll probably put this at like 670, where it's like a 300 to 100 spread, not spread, but a TP stop loss difference. So yeah, hopefully that makes sense. It's not really that difficult to do, but you do have to be quick, because if you don't do it quick enough, you'll miss the move. I know, right? Charles said they got to make a depth of market sell stop, which would be cool. I mean, there probably is a tool for that, but I haven't figured it out yet. And the thing is, I put sell stops and buy stops very rarely, so it's not like a big thing for me anyways. Let's see, question or something from Professor. So Professor said, I have settled on taking the breakout, which tends to hit or at least get into good profits. I'm testing a strategy where I take half profit from the breakout, if any, for that day, and using that as a speculative trade to trade back to opening price. I'm trading the Rick open price strategy in demo for now. I would only use a percentage of profits from another trade to take Rick's open price trade, so I'm assured a positive day, which is really smart, Professor. That's a really smart move of you to do that, because you're basically taking your speculative to add on, you know, initial equity for your day. And then from there, you'll take the other speculative move back to open if it does drop or push up for an additional profit. So that is a good idea, Professor, which I do think it can work. Rain said you can set a self stop and adjust it according to where the DOM tool is. I'll have to play around with that, Rain. I haven't done that before. But what I do sometimes too is what I'll do is I'll enter off the DOM, and then I'll just adjust the TP stop loss once I'm ready in the position. But also that's kind of a lot of work too, because it's kind of hard to really time it if price is moving too fast. But yeah, no, Rain said that you can kind of set it up. So I'll probably play around with it to figure that out. Back to the chart over here, guys. You guys can see that price did come back down like we anticipated. So I mentioned not to chase any buys here, right? Because look what happened. It came right back down to the same area where it's been pretty much all day today. So like I was just discussing earlier, guys, like here on the clean chart, as you guys can see, price hasn't really gone anywhere, right? This is basically where noise has been happening. And then this is where noise has been happening on the top side, basically. Right? So price has literally just been ranging right here throughout the entire day. This is where price opened from, and this is where price currently is. You know, the net movement from opening price has only been like 100 pips. Like we've had movement up here and we have movement down here, but price is literally just back to opening price over here. So there hasn't really been much of a real movement. I mean, there's been a lot of, you know, spikes in price, where price will go both ways, but there hasn't really been a real movement. So, I mean, it's just kind of whack overall. I guess that's like the easiest word to use, because the market just hasn't really been pushing, which is unusual because the spring is a time where the market is actually very volatile. This is like, it's technically supposed to be the best time to trade, but there just hasn't been very much movement. It's kind of just going back and forth. I mean, if you guys have been trading with me for like we've been trading live every day for I think the past 3 years now, or 4 years now. It's been a year again. So for the past 4 years, if you guys have been trading with me, there's usually a direction set. This is the reason why we're very careful with the trades that we decide to take, because you don't want to get caught in something like this. I could already see a lot of accounts getting blown today. Like for example, right here, I can see when this drops down, I already know a lot of people probably chase this sell, and they probably got in like right at the bottom over here, and they would have gone stopped out. And then vice versa. I'm sure a lot of people try to chase the buy over here as price pushed up. And I'm sure whoever chased this buy at like the last moment would have gone stopped out again right there. And then the same situation, price dropped down below, and I'm sure someone chased this sell again and they get stopped out, and then they chase the buy again right here. And at that point, their account's been blown, right? Because they would have gone stopped out down here, stopped out right here, stopped out right here, and then get stopped out again right here. So, yeah, I mean, hopefully this is like making sense to you guys, and you guys are understanding why we're being patient in the market, because I don't want you guys to be blowing accounts, and I don't want you guys to be losing any trades that could be easily avoided. Like for me today, I haven't taken any trades. It's only Monday, so I know I have a whole week ahead of me. Not really in any rush to take any trades, because realistically, it's like I'd rather have no losses and just go on with the week and then catch wins here and there, rather than start off the week with like a lot of losses and then just drag it on the entire week and be pissed off, you know, because I'm sure people who are getting their accounts blown or losing trades here, I'm pretty sure they're getting pretty frustrated because price is just going back and forth. There's no clear direction. So, I mean, I would have been pissed. I'm sure you guys would have been pissed too if you guys took the trade here and lost here, came back over here, took the buy here and lost here, and then took the sell here. Because this is what happens with a lot of people. Like they end up taking trades at like the worst time, and then they get blown. Their accounts just keep getting blown. Charles said, once I saw the sentiment change that fast, I was done. LOL. Yeah, and I agree with you. Other than that, let's see. So Rain said, when you right click where it says trading, it's there. So when I right click on here, Rain, I see the buy limit and sell stop, but I don't think it sets the actual, it doesn't set the DOM, does it? It's just a pending sell stop, I think. I don't think it's an actual, I don't think it links with the DOM, or maybe it does. I don't know. I might be wrong. Yeah, maybe I'll play around with it and see. Yeah, I don't know. I'll play around with it and I'll see how it goes. Other than that, let's see, I'm gonna scroll up real quick. Nick said Dookie Day, just gonna wait and start my FTMO tomorrow. Yeah, no, definitely, Nick, especially since it's your funded account, you should probably just chill out for a better day. Talanji said, yeah, I'm chilling for today. It looks like a bunch of fake outs. I agree. Maddie said, Sean, it's the same market again, rejected off. And here's Maddie's profits. Again, Maddie showed some more profits, locked in a total of 392 for the day. Nice work, Maddie. Yeah, I know it bounced right off and you had that. Yeah, you didn't take it, but it hit. Yeah, no, I could see that too. It's kind of similar to what I was showing you yesterday too, right, Maddie? Oh yeah, it's kind of similar. It's like right here. So I'm kind of working on something else here. Well, you guys know, as time progresses, I'm gonna see more patterns in the market. I'm gonna find other strategies that can be applied. So kind of playing around with a couple of things here with Maddie. And yeah, Maddie, I did see that as well. It's kind of similar to what I was showing you yesterday. It's just kind of harder to see with like the choppiness. Like I do see this right here. Actually, this played out perfect, Maddie. Look at this. The same thing that I showed you right there. I came back and you could have entered. Right there. Yeah, that would have been a good push. So, you know, I'm always thinking of things, guys. Whenever I'm like looking at the charts, I see patterns, and yeah, Maddie, you could probably see that right there, right? That would have been a big push. It's the same thing that I showed you yesterday. Yeah, I mean, I'm always testing new things, guys. So like, you know, it doesn't matter what kind of market conditions we get into, what type of, like whatever goes on in the market, I always find a way to be profitable no matter what. You know, I've been trading for a long time. This is what I do full time. I just trade. So when I do see stuff on the charts, I've been looking at these things where I've been figuring out zones with these high lows. And you know, what I just showed you right there, there's a little sneak peek of that right there. It's basically like a reversal pattern. Like we have a low here with the red candle, and then you have this reversal right here. So I ended up drawing a zone at that point. When price comes down to retest, like it did right here, I would put a buy stop. There would have to be a, you know, some sort of entry at some point, but yeah, a buy stop at that point, and you pretty much ride that pretty up. So, I mean, either way, we're going to stay profitable here at K2. It doesn't matter what the market gives us. I mean, I'm still pretty profitable as is, but I'm always looking for new things to apply. And of course, I'm going to show you guys when I figure things out. But, you know, all of these K2 indicators, they come into play at some point. Like it's easy for you guys to see how the market's moving just by using these indicators. And you can just see patterns that start to show up here and there. But no, definitely. That's probably something that's not going to come up anytime soon, though. I'm just going to keep testing it until I see something similar to like the variations that we've been taking. The variation strategy is something that I kind of developed with you guys here on the live. I never back tested it. I just forward tested it with you guys here on the live, and here it is. It's now an official strategy. So yeah, I think that'll be something that we can take a look at. And Barack said, good morning, y'all. Super late. Hope I get something. I mean, it's about to be 8 already, so it's kind of late at this point. Nice, John. John says he has an EA that trails TP stop loss. Yeah, I've seen that before too. Rami said, if you figure it out, please let us know. Yeah, no, definitely. Professor said in my demo, I traded back to open price using profits from the breakout. My RR was 1.78, so I would have risked half the profits from the breakout for me. Would have risked 1,250 on a speculative trade that hit profit and ended up doubling his account. Nice. That's nice work, Professor. And that's something that could definitely help you in the long term. Nice. Yeah, no, definitely, Maddie. Talanji said, new strategy learner. Yeah, I'll keep testing, guys. I mean, I'm always looking for new patterns and stuff that we can take here because, you know, the market will always give you stuff. It's just you kind of figuring out what actually is consistent and what actually appears. Pretty often it's not just like a one-time thing. I feel like a lot of people create strategies, but they only work during certain periods. I try to find stuff that works throughout all market conditions, right? That's usually like what we're trying to focus on here, because we're looking for long-term growth, obviously, long-term and consistent growth in a lot of instances. Yeah, John said the retest seems to work well if the K2 momentum hasn't changed. Yeah, which I agree to. Maddie said market movement's dead. Charles said V2 after the V3. Yeah, there's a V2 right here, but there's no bias change for the buy yet. Charles, so I'm not really, I mean, I wasn't really looking for it yet until we have, you know, some sort of change in bias, but we just don't have that yet. Still at a sell. Barack said, I like that new one. I'm working on a similar setup, mostly based on imbalance, also similar. Yeah, I mean, you got a lot of people have like different, you know, people have experience with supply and demand, imbalance, stuff like that. Like a lot of these things tie in because they're very similar. It's just that we're looking for different points, right? Like some of you guys are looking for like demand, supply and demand, or you're looking for imbalance areas. I mean, this could kind of be considered like a supply area, right? Or demand area. Because the thing is price comes up or reverses up. So like if someone's looking for a supply here, I mean, this could be considered a supply for some people. For me, I just don't call it supply because I'm using something else to identify it. I'm using the high lows here. So it's kind of similar as to identifying a supply and demand. It's just that it's easier for us to look for because the indicator here actually tells you where to look, right? You're not necessarily like kind of guessing where the supply and demand would have to be. You have the actual indicator that's like, okay, here's a low. And if you're to identify that, it just makes things a lot easier for everybody. So yeah, I'll figure out a way to implement that so that you guys can use that. But you know, obviously it's going to take some time. And hopefully this week I can start on the new strategy videos. So see how that goes. Anyways, other than that, yeah, I mean, if you guys have any questions, you know, feel free to reach out. It's currently about to be 8 right now. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to drop your questions in the chat. Otherwise, I think we'll be wrapping up this session soon or right about now because it's about to be 8. I don't really have anything for us to take today, unfortunately, but just keep in mind today's Monday. It's the beginning of the week. We have a whole week ahead of us. So even if there's nothing to take today, I'm sure there's going to be something for us to take tomorrow, the day after, etc. So just, you know, I would just sit tight or, you know, I would just not take any trades today unless you guys really have to trade. Let's see, Rain. Send me a message on Telegram. Yeah, Rain said, hey, can you look at these patterns for the mentoring session where I drew the white lines? Price seems to move well when 2 candle bodies are at the same price point. Yeah, this is kind of similar to the V1, right? I don't know, is this a V1 entry here, right? It kind of looks like one, but it's not. The wick doesn't come down. So this is something that I have looked at in the past. When I was looking for the V1, or I was looking to, when I was trading the V1, I was looking at whether the body should be considered or the wick. I've done my own like testing and stuff. The body does work sometimes, but for the most part, it works a lot better when it's like a double wick. So it does work sometimes, Orion, and this is something that you can probably go back test yourself. I've back tested myself too, but there's just too much data to look back. And the thing is, you see this happen a lot. Like you can see over here, like when price is ranging, you'll see it where it happens like pretty often, where price will be at the same body, but it doesn't necessarily give you a really good push in that direction. So the thing with that is that with the bodies, I see that kind of pattern happens too often. Like for example, right here, the bodies are at the same. This is cool because the body is the same and it does drop. But again, right here, the bodies are the same, but it doesn't actually go up. So what I'm looking for is I'm looking for patterns, but patterns that don't come up as often and are more accurate. So if you go back over here, you just look, you're going to see a lot of times where the bodies are the same, but they don't actually push that far in that direction. However, when you see when wicks are the same and they're at an actual high low, then you see it push a bit further. But yeah, we could go over that further in the mentoring session, right? So if you go, if you attend the mentoring session later, just bring this up and then we can go over it more in detail there. But yeah, I've tested it myself when I was creating the V1 strategy. And I found that the same body lengths it's not as good as the double wick when it's at a high low. So, or what you can do is you can do the same thing. It's a variation, V1. So like, for example, right here, it's a double body, right? But it's at a higher low. So like something like that, yeah, you can take that. Let's see if I can find another pattern here. Again, right here, it's a low, but it's a double body. It also qualifies as a high low. I mean, as a variation. But again, right here, same situation. There's a low right there, but it's a double body. And you could have taken that for a buy right here for, X amount of pips or so. Again, right here, there's a high, same situation. You could have taken that for a sell. And then you could have wrote it down in CP. So yeah, no, it does work. Like, don't get me wrong, it does work. It's just that for my testing, I just saw that the double wick works, but maybe this is something that we can look at as well. Because it looks like it's something that we can use. Again, right here, double body, where it lines up. And it's also a low. And it has a pending buy signal. I think it's basically just a variation, just a different one. Maybe this will be a variation 4, we have another variation, or maybe this is just a different type of variation V1. So instead of a double wick, we can probably add this as double body as well. But again, that's something that we would have to go and like test like pretty deeply to make sure that it actually applies and it's actually pretty consistent. So no, it was great that you brought that up, Rain. We'll look into that. Maria's asking, what do you expect for the rest of the morning? So for the rest of the morning, here, let me just go here to the clean chart. Okay, so the problem with this, right, well, not just right now, but in general, is the fact that we don't have a bias, right? If we had some sort of bias, then we can confirm that, because I do expect there to be a mid-market reversal. However, we just don't know what direction it'll move into. So let me go over here real quick and mark these up. Pretty much just marking up every hour here. Okay, so what you want to look for here is where liquidity is sitting, right? There's a lot of liquidity here on the bottom, Maria. So what you might see is you might see price reverse to the downside as we get closer to the mid-market. So mid-market's going to be right here around 10. What you might see is maybe some more consolidation, push the upside, consolidation. What might happen here is we might have liquidity hit above here. And then once it gets closer to like mid-market, price might come back down and then hit liquidity down here. Because what you want to keep in mind is that this liquidity is going to get hit at some point, right? It's sitting there, it's like patiently sitting there, just waiting. We have another one right here as well. So price might just range around this area, maybe even drop at some point, but then at some point it's going to have to hit liquidity. Right, there's a lot of liquidity right here. So this is what might happen. I don't think this is for sure going to happen because there just is no bias. Like, for example, if we had a retail sentiment bias, if this was like 60% long, then yeah, for sure, I would see it drop, but there just is there's no direction. So it's kind of hard for you to really predict where price is going to go. Same with the fundamentals over here. This is like at 6 points. It's like nothing. So overall, I don't know if this will happen. If sentiment starts to push in one direction, maybe, but maybe there might not even be a mid-market reversal today because there's no actual bias. Typically, if price is pushing one way, like for example, price was pushing up like all morning, technically this is where it's pushed up from because this is opening price. It's only pushed up right here. So realistically, if you're looking at how far it's pushed from opening price, it's only pushed up 400 pips. This is nothing. Like this wouldn't even cover the breakout, right? This would cover the breakout, but technically this is where price is right now. So realistically, there hasn't been much movement since open. Market opened right here at 630. It's only opened it pushed up about 400 pips. So there's not really much of movement there. So yeah, I mean, for me personally, I would just sit out the market. I wouldn't really look to take any mid-market reversal because there isn't really reversal to look for here because there hasn't been a direction set to begin with. Someone you said, what in the manipulation? Yeah, no, definitely. Solo's asking, so how many hours until the mentoring session? Right now it's 8 o'clock. So let's see, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 6 hours solo. So in about 6 hours, I will be live again for the group mentoring session. If you guys have any questions, feel free to save them for that session. We can go over the questions in detail. And I can show you guys examples. But other than that, I think that's about it. If you guys have questions, feel free to reach out. You guys are free to email me or message me on Telegram. Otherwise, I will be back in the next 6 hours with the group mentoring session. So if you guys have questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, just wait until the mentoring session and we can go over whatever questions you guys have. So just, a reminder, the mentoring session is for everyone to join and just ask whatever questions you guys have. I can go over any of the K2 strategies. I can go over bias. I think the first thing I'll cover is this bias thing that I've been showing you guys on the technical side because people are still confused about it. And I'll try to help you guys understand it as much as possible. So other than that, guys, I will see you guys later. If you guys have questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, I will be back in the next couple hours for the group mentoring session. So have a great rest of your morning. And if you guys don't need to trade, I'll just sit out. I'm not going to trade at all, guys. So I'm going to go do whatever I need to do for now. And I'll prepare for the mentoring session. I'll be back for that later in the day.